Yo, what it do? SRT gang. It's your boy with the fat SwaggyReacts, and we are back with another reaction video, man. And y'all already know we gotta come right on, spin the block again for Mr. Ballen. You know what I'm saying? He dropped a new video for us, man, and I gotta deliver. You know what I'm saying? Cause I told y'all we about to go crazy with Scary Hour, man. So I need you guys locked in, sharing the video, hit the like button on the way in, bro, and make sure if you forget to do it, like as soon as you get here, do it on the way out, man. Hit the like button, bro. But we finna go ahead and get into this. I'm like, he filmed in his secret room, destroyed an entire city, bro. So like, share, comment, subscribe, bro. We on the road to 100K. Just go ahead and subscribe up, bro. You might as well. You're gonna come back tomorrow when I drop another one anyway. So you might as well go ahead and sub up or whatever. So like, hit that bell so you know when I'm dropping. You feel me? So again, like, shouts out to Mr. Ballen, man. I'm one of the greatest like storytellers on YouTube, man. It's the 30-minute clip. So sit back, you know what I'm saying? Like, relax, or whatever. Like, get your popcorn and enjoy the ride. We about to go crazy, bro. Like, shouts out again to everyone that's been checking out the videos as well, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all, man. Let's go.
Today's story comes out of China, and it is a brutal story. There's just no way to tell it without being sort of graphic. So with that in mind, this is definitely a mature audiences only type of story.
Okay.
That said, it is a fascinating story, and the ending is something that very few of you are going to see coming. It's going to feel kind of predictable throughout most of the story, and then it's like the end completely changes your impression of the story. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all we do, and we upload once a week.
Yes, sir.
So if that's of interest to you, please offer to power wash the like button's house, but be sure you set the machine all the way up so you blow off their shingles and blast all their paint off, and then you just leave. Just leave it as is. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
Let's go.
One Saturday afternoon in November of 1990, a 26-year-old kindergarten teacher named Su Lixia sat crying on a bench at a train station in the city of Naha, which is located in northeastern China. Su had just left her husband for good. They'd had a bad marriage for a long time. It was very contentious. They fought all the time. And that morning, they had gotten into this major fight. And for Sue, it was kind of like the final straw. And so she just stormed into the bedroom, grabbed some things, threw it in a bag, and just stormed out. She was...
Yeah, like those type of relationships, bro, like, that's the best thing to do, is just get out of it, bro, because it can get real bad. Like, to the point, you know what I'm saying? Y'all literally fist fighting, possibly worse. So, like, it's just best to just get out of it, bro. It don't matter how long y'all been together, bro. Like your heels will heal. I promise you, man.
Was done. But Sue really didn't have a plan for what she was going to do once she left the house. And so she found herself just sitting at this train station doing nothing, just staring at the trains rolling in and out over and over again. And as she sat there, again, not knowing what she's going to do, she suddenly took stock of the fact that very few people were getting on and off of these trains, and in fact, the train station itself was weirdly vacant. So the city of Naha, where Sue was actually fairly small by China's standards, even though there was 70,000 people that lived there. The city sat at the base of this towering mountain, and then all around the city in the outskirts was basically just farmland with lots of soy and corn crops. And then as you move closer to the city center, there were lots of things you would expect to see in a city, like tall buildings and, residential and commercial areas. But overall, Naha was just kind of boring. It's like the city was a city, even if it was small, but there was just not much going on. And in fact, if you lived in China, but not in Naha, there was a very good chance you didn't know Naha even existed. Like, it was kind of irrelevant. However, in the last few months leading up to this moment that Sue is sitting at this train station, the city of Naha had suddenly been put on the map, and everybody knew about this city, because women from Naha were going missing in droves. In fact, Sue herself knew of at least a dozen women who had gone missing over the past few months from Naha. And as these women started going missing, it was making the news all over the country, and women who lived in Naha were acutely aware of the risks of being out alone, in fear that somebody was going to come...
That's the whole thing, man. Like women, like y'all don't need to be out nowhere alone at night walking through no dark alleys, like walking nowhere by yourself at nighttime, bro, because y'all are literally like defenseless out there, bro. If a man want to do anything to you, he will. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, yeah, like y'all need to have, a peace with y'all, or like a friend with y'all or something. You know what I'm saying? Like that Mace ain't gonna do it. Maybe like it'll wear them off probably a little bit, but that shit, nah, bro. Like y'all need to get a nigga or something.
Were acutely aware of the risks of being out alone, in fear that somebody was going to come snatch them up and take them away. In fact,
so
every time Sue would go to work, she would make sure she would walk with other women, like in pairs, to ensure safety. This was a really scary time if you were a woman living in Naha. However, the caveat to the missing women was all of them to this point, when Sue was sitting at the train station, had been sex workers. And Sue, she thought, in virtue of not being a sex worker and instead being a kindergarten teacher, that somehow she was not actually that vulnerable to being snatched up or, whatever was happening to these women. She just felt like it wouldn't happen to her. But now, as Sue sat
like that's the mindset right there that's gonna mess you up every single time. But like people always thinking it can't happen to them until it happened to them, bro. Every single time, bro. So that's why y'all need to just love, like, yo, well, like stop thinking y'all like Superwoman. You're not. Okay, ladies, and I love y'all. Trust me, I love every single one of my like female subscribers, man. But y'all, like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like y'all know. Come on, man.
Whatever was happening to these women, she just felt like it wouldn't happen to her. But now, as Sue sat at this train station, which again was eerily quiet and vacant, she couldn't help but feel like she had made a bad decision being here. She felt like she could easily become the next woman who went missing from Naha. And so Sue began to think, maybe I should just go back home and try to patch things up with my husband, mostly for her safety, just to go back inside her home and be safe again.
Right.
But before she could stand up to do that, she noticed on the other end of the platform this man who was exceptionally well dressed with this beautiful brown wool coat and fancy pants. He looked like he stepped straight out of a fashion magazine. He came up onto the train platform, and without saying a word, he walked slowly down the platform all the way to where Sue was, and he reached into his pocket and he held out a tissue to her because he saw she was crying. And Sue, she's looking up at the sky, and again, there's nobody else here, and she's very much on edge. And she doesn't know what to do. It was already creepy that this place was vacant, but it's even stranger to have a random man come up to her and try to initiate some sort of interaction with her. It just felt wrong and weird and very suspicious. But as Sue stared at the sky, trying to figure out what his angle was, she could see that he had kind of kept himself standing back from her, kind of a respectful distance, not trying to crowd her out. And he was looking at her with a very sympathetic look on his face, and he's holding this tissue out, and he said to her, "Are you okay?" And he hands the tissue again, like, "Please take it." And there was just something about this guy that felt very sincere, and Sue kind of let her guard down, and she accepted the tissue and wiped the tears from her eyes.
That's all it takes.
She didn't say anything, and then this guy, he said, "Hey, do you mind if I sit with you?" And at this point, Sue said, "Yeah, okay, you can sit down." And so this very handsome, well-dressed man took a seat next to Sue, not right next to her, again, respectful distance from her. And again, he asked her, "Hey, are you doing okay?" And for Sue, whose life had been basically miserable the last few months or even years with this terrible marriage she was in, she wasn't used to being asked if she was okay. And this man, who she didn't know, had caught her at this very vulnerable moment in her life. And it was like all her emotions just came pouring out. And she began sobbing hysterically, telling this guy that no, she was not okay. Her life was in ruins. She had just abandoned her family, and she had no idea what she was.
Like, and all it takes, the second that you put that guard down, oh, yeah, like, dude about to eat her alive. You know what I'm saying? As far as, like, just, like, she's expressing her emotions. She's very vulnerable at this point. You know what I'm saying? So she's going to say everything that's on her mind. So, like, Witchin he's going to sit there and listen, understand what she's saying, and she's going to slowly, like, oh, man, like, this guy's super nice. Hey, let's go on a date and shit like that. And then blase, this nigga probably a serial killer. Just saying, like, that's how it normally is.
It was not okay. Her life was in ruins. She just abandoned her family, and she had no idea what she was going to do. And finally, when Sue stopped telling this guy all about her problems, she felt very embarrassed and kind of looked up at him like she was sorry for even saying as much. But the man, who was very intently listening, he was just nodding along, very sympathetic, and he told Sue that his name was Gia Wang, and that he was a director at a factory not far from here, and if she was open to it, he'd be happy to think about hiring her at the factory, give her a new start.
Okay, so he's going to take that route. He's going to give her a job And then, okay, you're gonna take
potentially,
that,
because it seemed like that's what she really needed. And then he asked her if she wanted to come back to his house to discuss this job opportunity further. Now with this, even though Sue had really appreciated everything this guy had done to this point, the second he asked her to come back to his house, she's like, red flags are going up. She knew there's something off here. Clearly,
no, you don't go to nobody's crib to talk about a job. We can talk about it right here. Know what I'm saying? Or you can, know what I'm saying, email me like the details, my boy. I don't gotta come back to your crib to talk about a job. You feel me? Like, nah, but bruh.
This guy does have an angle, and it's not to benefit me. And so she looked at him with an absolutely suspicious look, like, no way am I going to your house. I don't know you. Like, I appreciate the tissue and you letting me cry, but there's no way. But again, as she's staring at him with the suspicious look, the look on Gia's face remained very sympathetic and very gentle, and it almost seemed like he was just going to get up and go, like, hey, I'm sorry for offending you. But before he did get up to leave, Sue said, hold on. Actually, yes, I'll come with you. She didn't know why she agreed to go with him. Maybe it was because her life was so messed up at this point that she was just kind of ready to take chances and be sort of reckless. And this was definitely that. Big chance, very reckless. But again, she just felt like, you know, there's something sincere about this guy, and she felt like she could trust him.
That's how it always starts off. They start off all nice and sincere, say all the right things, this, that, and the third, treat you like a queen, blah, 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 blah.
So Sue and Gia stood up, and together they walked down the train platform, not saying much. They went downstairs, they went out to the street, and they walked a couple of blocks to where Gia's street was. And as soon as they turned the corner and he showed Sue which house was his, Sue looked up, and whatever hesitations she had had still to that point about following the stranger to his house were gone, because she saw his house was beautiful. It wasn't that it was so grand or anything, it totally fit with the neighborhood, but it was very well maintained and totally felt on brand for a guy who was so well dressed and so well manicured and frankly so handsome. So Gia led the way to the front door of his house. He unlocked the door, he opened it up, and then he gently gestured for Sue to come on inside. And so she did. She walked past him, Gia followed her in, and the two of them took off their shoes and made their way into the kitchen, where Gia brewed some tea for them, and then they both sat down and began to sip their tea and talk about this job opportunity. And so for a few minutes, you know, Gia is telling Sue all about the role and what she might be doing. And Sue is kind of asking general questions about it. But, you know, for the most part, she just kind of enjoyed being in the presence of somebody who seemed to care about her. But after she finished her entire glass of tea, suddenly Gia, who had been talking this whole time about the factory, just stopped. It was like he was waiting for her to drink that entire
here we go. See what I'm saying? Now
drink. And as soon as she was done with her cup, Gia, again, he went quiet and just stared at Sue with this kind of sinister look on his face, like he was very pleased with what was going on. And at that point, Sue looked down at her teacup and then back at Gia, and suddenly she began to feel very drowsy.
See what I'm saying, bro? See what I'm saying? Like, and now, like again, he saw her in the train set crying. She was, know what I'm saying? And now he, look. See what I'm saying, y'all?
It was like her vision was beginning to go, and she realized Gia clearly had poisoned her. There was something inside of her tea. And so before she could do anything, everything went black.
Passed out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned as we attempt to commune.
Like, all this could have got avoided. We could have just said no, like, no thank you, like,
a couple of weeks later, just a few blocks away from where Sue met Gia at the train station, a police officer named Zhang was standing behind his desk at the police station when a very concerned-looking elderly couple came inside. Now, this couple was here to speak with Zhang about a missing person, but the missing person was not Sue. She had been missing for 2 weeks now. Nobody had seen her.
2 weeks?
But no one had reported her missing. Her husband had just assumed that Sue had left him, and that's why he hadn't seen her, and so he had naturally not reported that. And again, nobody else knew she was missing. So keep that in mind. Officer Zhang has no idea about Sue and Gia, none of it. But when this elderly couple came in to make a missing person report, Officer Zhang was not the least bit surprised. It was now December of 1990, and over the past 6 months, 20 women out of Naha had suddenly gone missing. Remember, Sue is not one of those 20. The 20 are mostly sex workers who went missing at that same train station where Sue met Gia. And so Officer Zhang was used to making all these missing person reports, But candidly, the police actually felt like, because these were sex workers that were going missing, they weren't sure if they were actually being abducted or if they were simply getting on a train and kind of leaving town to go work somewhere else. And so really there wasn't a whole lot of investigation happening to figure out why so many of these women were going missing.
And like, what's up with these other countries just not taking their murders and shit and missing people seriously, bro? They investigate for like a week. And then like, all right, well, can't find them. Like, why do y'all do that, bro? That's so like that really bothers me, bro.
But again, Officer Zhang, he's not surprised that they're telling him they want to file a missing person report. But when Zhang took this elderly couple to an interview room to talk to them about whoever was missing in their lives, when this couple spoke, Officer Zhang knew this was different, because the couple was not reporting another missing woman from Naha who also happened to be a sex worker. Instead, they were reporting that a man was missing, a businessman. However, the details of his disappearance sounded eerily similar to all these sex-working women who had also gone missing. This guy was last seen at that same train station where Sue had met Gia, and then nobody had seen him, and so that's why they were here. And so Officer Zhang, he wrote up their report, and then he told the couple that, very likely this man is okay, and he'll show up at some point under his own steam, but he told them the police would look into it, and they'd be in touch. However, as this couple got up and turned around and left, Officer Zhang couldn't help but feel like this missing man and all these missing women went missing from the same place. And it's the same city and it's the same pattern over and over again, but now we have a man. And even though Zhang wanted to write it off as an anomaly, he started to wonder if this missing man was connected to all these missing women. Because by January of 1991, so 2 months after Sue had gone missing without a trace...
Bro, a whole 2 months have went by and nobody has said nothing. And this nigga, her ex-husband still ain't even checked on her. It's been a whole 2 months, bro. You didn't want to hear nothing from... Yo, I don't know how it is over there in China. Like in their relationships and their marriages and shit like that. But in the U.S., bro, we still keep... Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, that's insane, bro.
And still had not been reported by anybody. And 6 weeks after that elderly couple...
like, where's her family? Like, nobody's reporting her missing. Like, no one has called her, texted her, or nothing. What is over there in China? Like, what family don't keep in contact with each other? Or like what?
Reported that man missing. Another 5 people from Naha had gone missing, 2 more women and 3 more men. And so now the police in Naha were looking at 26 people, men and women, that had all gone missing.
But 26 people in China, bro, let's keep it real, bro. It's over like how many people in China, bro? 26 people is like a fucking it's like rice in China, bro. Like, come on, bro. 26 people is literally nothing when it compared to the amount of people that's in China. Come on now. 27 people.
Very recently out of Naha, and nobody had a clue what happened to them. And importantly,
and nobody knows
there
nothing.
Were men who were not sex workers who were going missing. The police couldn't just write this whole thing off as, oh, these sex working women are just going to another city to go do their work there. Like, that was not a possibility anymore. Clearly something bad was happening, and the police knew they really needed to do a real investigation here. So finally, in early spring of that year, the police in Naha formed a task unit and legitimately began investigating all these disappearances. But amazingly, there was like no information. Like, there was nothing. These people went missing and nobody heard from them. There was no evidence of where they went. There was not even any sign that anything bad happened to them because no bodies had been found. There was no evidence of really anything happening. All the police knew is these 26 people, not including Sue, so she would be the 27th person, had been at this train station and then vanished. And that's all they knew. And it got to the point where this story really began to spread around China, and it became like this running joke that if you don't want to live, go to Naha, because everybody assumed there had to be some sort of serial killer or something happening there who was just roaming the streets, picking people off.
That's what you gotta think at this point. Like, come on now, 27 people come up missing.
I chose Wix for my business because of its massive scope for
27 people go missing without a trace. Like,
freedom
come on, bro.
of creation.
Like, stop it, bro. Come on, bro. Somebody knows something.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring
Somebody knows
today's
something.
video. I have a highly addictive personality, and in my life, it's been both a blessing and definitely a curse. When I'm focused on a goal, I become totally addicted to it, and as a result of that, I usually by late summer of 1991, when really this story had taken hold across the country and was becoming a bigger and bigger deal because there was absolutely no resolution here, police had no idea what was going on, well, the whole situation got a whole lot worse because now, in addition to people suddenly vanishing at the train station in Naha, more people were also going missing in other cities nearby Naha, but all along the same train line that left out of Naha. So more train stations, more disappearances, all around the area, not just the city of Naha, but all around. And by the fall of that year, when over 30 people had gone missing all the same way from these train stations all around Naha, the police still had absolutely nothing to go on. All they had is, here are these people, here's where they were, they vanished, we got nothing else, no bodies, no evidence, nothing. But all that would change on October 22nd, 1991, roughly a year after Sue met Gia at the train station in Naha, and then drank that drugged tea.
A whole year, and nobody has checked up on this girl. No family, like how no family members checked on this girl? She wasn't close to nobody in her family. Nobody. She don't got a sister. Like she wasn't close with her mom. Like when nobody was able to. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Like I don't know, bro.
On that October day in 1991, so again a year after the disappearance of Sue, police at this train station 1,700 miles away from the city of Naha were doing random stops of commuters on the train platform. This had nothing to do with the ongoing investigation into all these missing people. This was just like public safety stuff, where the police were kind of just walking around, looking for people who looked suspicious, and then checking in on them to make sure they weren't doing anything illegal. And on this particular day, at this train station far away from Naha, one of these officers spotted this very handsome guy in a beautiful brown wool coat and very fancy pants and shoes, and he stood out a lot. Beautiful brown wool coat. One of these officers spotted this very handsome guy in a beautiful brown wool coat and very fancy pants and shoes, and he stood out a lot because of, frankly, how beautiful he was. And so the police officer saw him, and this very handsome guy looked up, and he saw the police officer, and it was like immediately he did something very suspicious. He reached down, grabbed a bag, and quickly turned around and began walking away. And at the same time, two other people who were right near this very handsome guy did the same thing. They grabbed bags off the ground, quickly turned around, fell in line with this handsome guy, and began quickly walking away from the police. And so the police obviously are totally suspicious.
Yeah,
they run across the platform, and they manage to stop all three of them,
sure.
and they turn them around, and they say, "Show me your bags, open them up." And the police, they would open up these bags, and they contain drugs. And so right away, these three know they are caught, but they don't say anything. They just stand there, and they're totally silent as the police are asking them, like, what are these drugs? Where are you going with these? What's going on here? They're not talking. And so finally, the police go, "Give me your IDs right now." And so all three of them cough up their IDs, and the very handsome guy with the beautiful brown wool coat and fancy clothes, well, that was Gia Wang. The same Gia Wang who had gone with Sue into his house and given her the drugged tea. But again, these police officers are only concerned about the drugs. They don't know
like they don't know about the bodies like that he got. You know what I'm saying? And his accomplices now. Because where these two other people come from? First off. But let's go.
The thing about these guys, they don't know that Gia met Sue and did this thing at his house with the tea. That wasn't even reported to police.
But they're about to find out.
But these police knew they had caught these three people with these bags of illegal drugs, so they brought them back to the station and began to question each of them. And when they spoke to Gia, Gia said nothing. However, when they spoke to the two other people that were with Gia, one of them began to crack. It was obvious they had more to tell about these drugs.
Like it's always one out the group. It's always one out the group that's gonna crack every single time, bro. And then the second that they crack, it's up. It's up.
And they were kind of holding back tears, like they were very upset. And one of the interrogators, sensing one of these people was prepared to confess to something, instead of really drilling down on them, he was very comforting. And he offered them a blanket and said, "Here, take this blanket, relax, it's okay. You can tell me what's on your mind, it's okay." And that just totally broke this person.
Oh yeah, it's over now.
He said, these drugs are nothing. You need to see what's in Gia's house. Now, we'll put these drugs to the side. They won't matter. What's in his house is horrible.
There we go. It take one bad apple, my nigga. One bad apple every single time. They about to go, bro. They about to
Cedar
find
Hill's not
everything
exactly a noted.
on him now.
The next day, a phone rang in the police station in Naha,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Officer Zhang picked it up, and it was one of the officers who interviewed these 3 people with drugs and got this whole horrible confession about what was inside of this guy Gia's house, and he told Zhang all about it. And as Zhang is listening to this, his eyes went wide because he knew this had to be connected to all these people going missing. Like, this has to be it.
Boy.
And so as soon as he hung up the phone,
boy.
Officer Zhang rounded up 20 other police officers and 10 forensic doctors to go search Gia's house. And when they got there, the house from the outside looked just as beautiful as when
as hell,
Sue had
right.
seen it for the first time, and felt like her reservations about Gia had gone down because of how wonderful his house looked.
Again.
But as soon as all those police officers and the forensic doctors stepped inside of Gia's house, he wasn't home, there was nobody there.
Of course.
When they went inside, they were instantly hit with this horrible, horrible smell inside the house.
Probably got like, but he got over what they said, 27 people the first time and 30 people in the other shit. He got about 57 bodies around them motherfuckers. I would think you would be smelling something. I would think you would be smelling something.
Even though things are neat and beautiful inside too, there was something bad inside this house. And the smell seemed to be coming from the basement. And so at some point, Officer Zhang and the other officers, they got to the door, they opened it up, and they looked down, and all they could see was just this dark room down there.
Pitch black.
The smell was so strong, but they pulled their shirts up over their faces, and they went down the stairs, and when they got down there, they couldn't see anything. It's totally dark. But the smell at this point was so overpowering that a couple of the officers almost fainted. And so literally they had to leave the
like
house
so many
fearing they
bodies,
were breathing in
probably,
toxic
bro.
chemicals or something, and they had to wear gas masks just to go back into the house and back down into the basement. And when they got back down there, now wearing their masks, it didn't seem like there was anything down there that could produce such an awful smell. Like there was just nothing down there. But eventually, one of the officers moved to the middle of the basement, right in the middle, and they realized there was an opening. And they looked down into it, and they couldn't believe what they saw. And at the same time, somebody upstairs made an equally horrifying discovery because they discovered a videotape, a VHS cassette, that contained this horrible footage that effectively explained what was going on inside of that pit in the basement. But to understand that, we need to go back a year to when Sue met Gia at the train station. She went back to his house and drank the drug tea and blacked out. After Sue drank that tea, she didn't die. Gia did not kill her. Instead, she woke up a few hours later being totally confused, and she was immediately hit by this horrible smell, but it was totally pitch black. She can't see anything, and she began feeling her hands around her, and she felt stone everywhere she touched, and eventually she realized she was in what felt like the bottom of a well. But it wasn't water she was standing in. She was standing in something that almost felt like jelly, and she began kind of touching it to figure out what it was. She could not tell, but she couldn't help but feel like the things around her were kind of moving, like they were alive. And then suddenly, a lid that clearly sat atop of this pit began to slide over above her. And so suddenly light was coming down into this pit. And at first, Sue looked up and she didn't see anything, but then she looked down and realized what was all around her. It was people, dead people, and potentially even half alive people that were just stuffed into this big pit. They were all kind of decaying or...
And I told y'all in the beginning, this nigga is gonna be what? A serial killer, nigga. Did I not just say... Bro, I swear to God, bro. Go back to what... Bro, come on, bro. Cause it all be glitz and glamour in the beginning, my nigga. Be all glitz and glamour. He saying all the right things. And he turned around to be a fucking serial killer, nigga. Come on, man. I ain't call you Siri. Shut up.
Was all around her. It was people, dead people, and potentially even half alive people that were just stuffed into this big pit. They were all kind of decaying or, slowly dying or whatever it was. And she's just standing amongst it all. And then she looks up and she sees it's Gia, the beautiful man who had brought her here. He's standing up there looking down at her with a smile on his face. And Sue
with a
immediately
smile on
pleads
his
with him to
face.
please spare me.
Like,
Don't.
like he's probably getting aroused off this shit. Like he probably jerking off his little Peter Weeder and shit, bro. Like weirdos get off on shit like this. That's crazy to me, bro. He's sitting there with a big ass smile on his face, bro. Like people are, bro.
Her with a smile on his
Bro.
face, and Sue immediately
Bro.
pleads with him to please spare me, don't kill me. And Gia, he looks down at her kind of inquisitively, and he says, if I lift you out of there, will you do anything I tell you to do? And Sue said, yes, I'll do anything. Just get me out of here, please. And so Gia, he reached down, he grabbed Sue, and he pulled her up and out of this pit inside.
Damn, hold on. I mean, how deep is this pig hit? Like, I mean, he can just reach down and pick her up. Like, how deep is this damn thing? He got dead people in there, almost dead people in there. Like, what the?
This basement.
Basement.
Game days are better with fridge temp dry drawers.
Never mind.
Adventures are better with
He's in
ice
the
retention
basement.
for days. Exploring is better with life-proof durability.
A few days later, Sue was back at the train station where she had met Gia for the first time, but this time she was alone, and she walked up onto that train platform.
So, hold up, bro. And again, the police caught the. Like, did he use her to try to smuggle in drugs, bro? Like, use her as a sex, a trafficker, like human trafficker, shit like that. Cause they said in the beginning that, like, they caught him and two other people, like in the airport. I mean, like in the train station. So, oh man, come on, bro.
She had met Gia
Come
for the
on,
first
bro.
time, but this time she was alone, and she walked up onto that train platform with no intention of riding a train. Instead, as soon as she got up there, she began looking around, and then she spotted a businessman who was sitting on a bench. And she walked over to him, and she sat down next to him, and we don't know exactly what she said, but we think what she said was something maybe sexually suggestive or, something along those lines, and she's holding his shoulders and touching his hand. She doesn't know this man, and this man is very caught off guard by this, but he's kind of going along with it. And before long, she takes this businessman's hand, they stand up, and they walk out of the train station down to the street, and they make their way a couple blocks over to Gia's house. And when they get there, Sue leads them to the front door, she opens it up, she brings the man inside, the door shuts, they take their shoes off, and Sue leads this man into the kitchen where Gia is waiting with a wire between each hand. And as soon as this businessman walked into the kitchen, Gia pounced on him, wrapped the wire around his neck, and held it until the man passed out. And then he released the wire. And then Gia and Sue took this man, they lifted him up, and they carried him down into the basement and laid him out on the floor. So he's not in the pit, he's just out in the middle of the basement floor. Then Gia stepped away, picked up a video camera, turned it on, and began to film. He was filming the...
That's a real picture? What the? Bro, look at that, bro. He had people in the... Like, bro.
Gia stepped away, picked up a video camera,
It started
turned it
recording.
on, and began to film. He was filming the man on the ground, and also Sue. And Sue, she knew what to do. She was going to do anything she was told to do. So she climbed on top of this still very much alive businessman who's just been knocked unconscious, and she straddles him so she's looking down at his head. Then she picks up a knife and she holds it in front of her, and then she looks up at Gia, who at this point has zoomed the camera in. She can hear the sound, the mechanics inside of the camera as it's zooming in on what she's about to do. And then she raises the knife over her head and drives it into this man's chest. The video that Gia shot of Sue murdering this man was the video police found on the first floor of the house shortly after police had found this horrible pit in Gia's basement.
Look at the pit. Like, yo. Like, this is crazy, bro. Like again, bro. Everything that looks good on the like in front of these big ass mansions and houses and shit, bro. There's always some crazy shit in oh my god, bro. Like just torturing people and killing people. Like what? Like what?
On the first floor of the house shortly after police had found this horrible pit in Gia's basement. It would turn out that Gia Wang was absolutely the serial killer who was responsible for all these people going missing from the train stations.
And bro, I swear to God, bro, on my daughter's grave, I do not pre-watch my videos, bro. Like, I do not pre-watch these, bro. Go back to what I said in the beginning of the video, bro. This nigga is a serial killer, bro. I literally said that shit. Like, come on, bro. Like, this shit is crazy,
serial
bro.
killer who was responsible for all these people going missing from the train stations. He would abduct them just like he did Sue, and he would bring them to his house, and then he would do horrible, horrible things to them, and eventually he would chuck their bodies into this pit. And so
Crazy,
when he
bro.
abducted Sue, he actually thought that when he drugged her, that he had killed her, and he had chucked her into the pit, believing she was dead. But when Sue had woken up inside of that pit, when he opened it up and looked down, and there she was, fully alive,
He
had
wasn't
an
even
idea.
expecting that.
Well, why don't I turn Sue into a murderer like me? She can help me. And so that was the condition for her being pulled out of this pit, that she would assist him in murdering people, and she agreed to do it. And so the reason the profile of victims changed from sex-working women to random men is because those are the
There we
people
go.
that Sue went after.
It all makes sense now, bro. Come on,
He began
bro.
targeting men. And
Come
so when that
on,
elderly
man.
couple came in and reported to Officer Zhang that a man was missing,
Man was missing.
that was Sue's
That was
first
the
victim,
guy.
the man who had been seen on video being stabbed in the chest by Sue. Now, nobody to this day understands why Sue actually went along with this. Like, she was pulled up out of the pit, but then when she was told to go to the train station and find your first victim, it's unclear why she didn't just go to the police and say,
Right.
hey, there's a serial killer, Gia, here's his house, here's where he is, go get him. For some reason, she just did what he said. And in fact, Sue was not the only person who was brought into this murdering scheme. He managed to convince 3 other people, including his ex-wife, to also commit.
Including his ex, what? Yo, this is, bro. Like, like, you see what I've been saying earlier about women, bro? Like, I love y'all, bro. I love every single one of my subscribers, bro. But y'all, oh my God, bro. Like y'all are so vulnerable, bro. Like, again, bro. And I understand that she's probably doing this so she wouldn't get killed or whatever, bro. But it's like, bro, he had 3 other women, so he had all y'all women just convinced and just so in love with this nigga to the point that you'll do anything for this nigga, even kill somebody. But again, his ex-wife, again, that's his ex-wife. Come on, bro. And 2 other women.
Murders for him. And all 3 of those people also had ample opportunity to flee and tell police, but they didn't. All of these people just did what Gia wanted without asking any questions. It was like he had absolute control over these people. That is, until that day in October of 1991, when those police officers doing a public safety check spotted Gia along with 2 accomplices fleeing with drugs, and they stopped them and they got them back to the station, and one of his accomplices finally broke and told the truth. And the person who told the truth, the accomplice who broke, was Sue. She was there with him at the train station. Nobody knew she was missing, and she was the one who, when offered a blanket and was told, you know, tell us the truth, she came clean. Ultimately, it was this police officer's kindness that broke her.
And what's crazy, bro? The police's kindness is what broke her. Like, whoa, like. That's insane, bro. You should have been singing like a mock. Like, you should have been running to them the second you seen them in the train station, my nigga. Like he got you there under his will. Like.
His basement, inside of that horrible pit, right in the middle of it, were 42 bodies, 24 women and 18 men. In
42.
the end, Gia and all 4 of his forced accomplices, including Sue, were sentenced to death, and they were executed on January 24th,
42 people, my nigga. And all 3 of their asses go, man, bro, and they all were sentenced to death.
including Sue, were sentenced to death, and they were executed on January 24th, 1992.
Thank
Today,
God.
the city of Naha is still
Thank
just as
God.
infamous as it was in the 90s when these murders took place. And in fact, the nickname for Naha is now just Bandit City to reflect what happened there.
Wow, bro. What the yo? That was bro. Mr.
I
Yo,
want to create
Mr. Nightmare do not miss, bro.
a mildly effective...
I just say Mr. Nightmare. Don't, Mr. Ballen, don't miss. Like, he even laughed, bro, because he knew I fucked up, bro. My bad. My bad, gang. Let me let you talk.
I want to create a mildly effective... I want to make a mildly effective cold medicine made exclusively out of Egyptian fire ants. Take its horn off its head and you beat it to death. Sing out! Die. You die.
Hey, bro, bro, I know, like, he be having so much fun doing these videos like this, bro. I know he has fun, bro. I can just tell.
Turned and leapt head first out the glass window. Pow! Yes!
Yo, this dude
Got up on its flippers and began chasing us down the cave. A nice hot maga monster. And we settled on a piping hot plate of eagle tonsils, your smoked chicken gallbladder eggnog, your zebra cornea souffle. Get to go surfing. Surfing. But no! Pow! Yes, it did.
Papa, tu dois avoir.
Papa, tu dois avoir. Lungy was already in there, and he looks at me and he says, Papaye, deveríamos ter ficado con Hello Fresh. Oh, Lungy, put on... Ooh, Mr. Ballen, ooh.
Hey, yo, I can't with this guy, bro. I can't with Mr. Ballen, dog.
If you're wondering why I just shared a whole slew of me just butchering my various intros and different parts of strange, dark, and mysterious videos, well, it's because you all asked for it. Last month, in our first ever
dope,
Mr.
y'all.
Ballen
Hey,
newsletter,
bro, that's fire for y'all to request that shit. That's dope, y'all. For real.
we posed a question. We said, what do you want me to share with you the most? And I might give you a chance to actually see that. Maybe there's something else you want to see, and that newsletter might give you a chance to actually see that thing happening. And also, remember, the newsletter encompasses basically everything we're up to, both things that are coming up in the future, things that you might have missed, what we're doing now. And it's designed to be really easy to consume. It's very visual. It's not all text. Like, it's very beautiful.
Bro, he always coming up with something,
and so to sign up, all you got to do is go to ballenstudios.com and input your email, and boom, you're signed up. Also, you can just click the link.
You don't got enough money yet, bro. You got a lot going on, bro. I ain't mad at you.
That will also get you signed up for the newsletter. And then we will deliver it to you, once a month, and boom, there you go. You're in the know. So thank you to all the people who have already signed up. And in advance, thank you so much to those that are about to go sign up. And I'm sorry to those that plan to not sign up, because really, you're missing out.
I bet, man. Shouts out to Mr. Ballen, man. Again, he never disappoints with these videos, man. He surprises us every time, man. Rest in peace to everyone who lost their life in that tragic house of the serial killer boy and his accomplices, bro. But make sure you guys are tuned in tomorrow when I drop another one, man. Share this video, man. Hit the like button. Comment in the comment section, bro, because I really want to know what y'all think about this video, man. How do y'all feel? Do y'all feel like justice was served with them getting put down? Let me know down in the comment section, man. And make sure you guys are tuned in tomorrow when I drop another one, man. And SRT gang, I am out this thing, man. Let's get it.